Well, hello my friends. Here I am again, back in the man cave. I've seen a few vases that I really like, and I know that they're done because you got the natural edge of the circumference of a log as the top, the mouth of the vase. And it really gives you some unique patterns and really unique vases that I really like. Well, I have this small piece, it's a crotch piece from mango, left over from the initial mango pieces that I had. Now, like every other piece, it still has a little bit of dry rot on it. The pit is kind of opened up, so I don't know if it's going to work. If the only issue that I have is the pit, I might do something with epoxy on there. And depending on what happens with the dry rot of how far in it goes, which I don't know. It's close to the bark, and that's going to be the bottom of the bowl, so I can vase. I can eliminate some of it, but not all of it. But depending on what happens there, I might work with some sort of a fix to that. Bring you in the lathe and show you what I got. Now, you can see that I got a lot of this funky stuff going through it. Big crack going through here, a little one separation of the bark on this area here, and the pit has a hole in it as well. What I'm thinking of doing is shaping this down into somewhat of a V on this side, because here's the crotch, and the crotch is, don't know how it's going to play on this either. As a matter of fact, I see funky stuff going all the way across, so I have a funny feeling that this whole bottom of this piece will have those characteristics. Depending on what happens, I mean, I like the idea of turning this because I will have two pits. One at the neck area, one at the base of the vase. So I'm going to see if it is at all possible to come up with something. So once I start shaping the bottom, I'll see what happens here. Now I'm going to start off with this biggest gouge that I have, and it's got a fairly sharp edge, and very likely start shaping this and getting this piece somewhat round and see what happens. The lathe is at 600 RPMs. Tailstock is locked up, and I have this on a worm screw in here. So it's pretty tight between centers. Now soaking the whole bark in CA will harden it all up and keep it together. Do that before it chips off. It's a little easier to do it now than it is after all the pieces are on the ground, and you have to start picking them up and binding them together. Well, here's what I want to do a little different this time. I have the face more or less to the shape that I want. And at this point, what I'd like to do is fill up this void going all the way through here. I'm not going to touch these. These are fine with me. And I want to maintain all this bark area that's going through here and
pretty much leave it just the way it is, but I want to fill this up. So my thinking is I will seal one side, and the easiest side to seal up is this one. So I'll put a piece of masking tape over that, so the opening is closed up, and I'm going to mix some epoxy, and I'm going to fill this solid all the way through until the very top, where I will turn it and it will be crystallized all the way from here to the opposite side. And when I gouge it out, it will leave the wall thickness with the see-through area. So I want to see how that works out. Now I don't know if you can see it and if it's still agitating, but air bubbles keep coming up through that. But I actually think that it's already curing up a little bit, so not going to see them pass up all the way to the top. Now this is hot to the touch. That's definitely curing up real fast. It's pretty hot. I love with the bark on mango how it comes off. Really one of the prettiest barks once you cut on the edge of it. Gives you all this tiger striping, which is really beautiful. So we're going to wait a couple of minutes and sand this. Okay, well, I've wet sanded it with 1200 grit. It came up fairly clear on that area. A little milky still on this side over here. But this side has actually fibers of wood coming through that were in there. Were attached somehow in the middle, which is fine. And I'm applying some paste wax right now. I'm gonna buff it up and start hollowing the inside. And the final results is what will tell how transparent the acrylic is on this piece. Love that. Really love that. Going from this epoxy surrounded by the bark area coming up all the way there. Just those are the things that really enhance a piece as far as I'm concerned. But that's just my eye. That's what I see. And what I see and what you see should be different things. I might do things that you don't agree with. And it's part of creativity on what we're all about. And, we should all, as individuals, create our own style and our own form. This is just about ready to be buffed. Still a little tacky, so just wait another minute. Okay, this has had long enough. Beautiful finish. Well, time to go in there and start hollowing this out. It is beautiful. Inside, oh, it's okay. It's nothing great. It's one of those deals that hard for me to get my any sanding tools in there. So it's not bad. The cuts aren't too bad, but it's one of those things. I wish that's something I have to work on and figure out how I'm going to be able to sand some of these hollow vessels that I make and small necked pieces. This jagged edge doesn't allow me to really go in there. So that's what it is. The acrylic is not too bad. It's still foggy. I cannot sand that, wet sand the inside. If I was able to do that, then it would probably be pretty good. But you can see what's going on with it. Also, I probably would not be able to get a perfect finish because I see that all of this haze is actually trapped in air bubbles inside of it. So that's what I did. I filled that in with epoxy, and that worked out pretty well. It would have worked out fine too if it was voided. It would have not bothered me, but I wanted to do something a little different. So that's what it is. And it's got a couple of little bubbles that popped all the way through apparently, because I can see right through that. Well, this right here, this bark going through here, and these ridges, these are outside ridges of the bark itself, just like I have on the top, work out really beautiful. This line that's going through here, you know, that works out really well too. That was the crotch area. I got the two pits right here. The coloration is just beautiful on this, and the pit on this one shows here and at the very base over here, very little of it, about half. That's where I had all the rot gone through there, so I cut it fairly short to avoid that.
Well, here it is. A small mango vase with acrylic filler on this void here and this little one right here, which you can barely see. So anyway, mango vase. This is the last of the mango that I got from that initial piece with all the rot, mango to dust, and I made one nice vase out of it with the winged vase. That was a nice piece. Had very little deterioration, and this one had very little on the bottom, and this is the extent of what I got left on it. So it's got this little hairline crack going through the bottom as well, and it's there. That's what it is. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again.